Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Enjoy English School. I'm Bruce.
I'm Antony.
And today is the first of a two-day lesson on a highly unusual animal. And the title, which doesn't suggest this at all, is Forever a Teenager.
在中文的 title 里面比较知道多一点讯息，英文里面的话只讲说 forever a teenager， 永远是青少年，我还以为是什么奇幻的小说呢，对不对？原来在中文的 title 里面他说墨西哥的呆萌代表六角恐龙所以知道了，我们晓得说是这个六角恐龙是一个生物，这个生物很特别，也许呢它呢有这个特殊的特质是永远都是青少年，永远都不会变老，青春永驻这样的概念。
Okay, so today is the first of the two-day article. That's July 19th, and we continue and finish tomorrow on July 20th.
Okay, 那我们赶快来看看今天这个六角恐龙有什么厉害的地方吧。
Okay, let's get busy with part one. We have two paragraphs here, and there are many, many terms here that you will probably never again see unless you like biology or zoology, because this animal, there are very few of them, and it is so strange that many people don't know how to write about them.
没错，老师刚刚有提到一个重要的字汇哦。如果说今天那个你喜欢的是 biology 生物学 or zoology 动物学的话，你会看到很多跟这个有关的字汇。但平常的时候，你不会有机会看到这么多跟动物有关的词汇。
Okay, the animal we're talking about is introduced right away. The axolotl.There we go. The axolotl. First syllable has the stress. The axolotl, a type of salamander, is a unique symbol of Mexico City. Now, this animal maybe you have seen pictures of or even read about. A salamander is an amphibian. These are animals usually born in the water and have gills. Later in life,Some of them become land-dwelling creatures, but eventually they will go back to the water. These were among the very first animals that came out of our oceans hundreds of millions of years ago.
Yeah, 没错了，刚刚提到这个字 amphibian， 在这个我们第二句话里面有提到，就是两栖类的动物。在这边的话，我们先看到第一个 the axolotl, a type of salamander. Salamander 指的是蝾螈，类似像蜥蜴一样的动物哈。那它就是一种蝾螈类的。It's a unique symbol of Mexico City. 那它刚好是墨西哥城，它这个很有名的这个奇特的这种象征。那如果说今天你去看到这个词的话，你可能有机会去查了之后，你会看到emblematic animal, the most emblematic animal 就是象征这个地方的这个就一只蜥蜴蝾螈一样的东西叫做 axolotl。 好，在这边的话那个 emblematic 帮各位拼一下 E-M-B-L-E-M-A-T-I-C emblematic。 The most emblematic animal is axolotl. 所以整句话我们就告诉你说它是墨西哥城的代表，非常非常有名的。
Similarly,Kangaroo or koala. They are emblematic of Australia. That's the only country where you can find them.
没错，所以老师也提到在澳洲里头你可以听到无尾熊啦或是袋鼠啦，这都是非常象征这个国家的动物，你可以用到 emblematic 这个字来表达哦。
Continuing, this amphibian, we just mentioned this, they, unlike reptiles which must breathe air their whole lives, amphibians usually start in the water and have gills. Later, they may or may not go onto the land. Frogs usually do, but salamanders spend almost their whole lives underwater. Anyway, amphibian has the idea of both water and land, and for most of those species, that's true. This amphibian, the axolotl, tends to reach maturity, become an adult, without going through metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is change in the form or in the body of an animal over time. So Grown men or women look a lot different from babies because people also go through a metamorphosis.
没错，在这边的 metamorphosis 在里面的话就是指这个生物的那种变形或者是经历一些那种细胞繁殖分化产生形态或结构上的改变，这叫做 metamorphosis。老师刚刚还在解释的时候提到另外一个重要的字叫 reptiles。 reptiles 指的是这种爬虫类。那今天如果是 amphibians 两栖类动物的话，它们有 gills， 就是那个有鳃，就是它可以在水里头呼吸。到爬虫类的时候你就必须只能呼吸空气，到水里头就完蛋。它刚好就是在提到这样的概念。 This amphibian 这样的两栖类动物呢 tends to reach maturity without going through metamorphosis， 就是在不用经过变形呢，它就可以长成这种成熟的状态，生理的状态。
In other words, the baby and the adult look almost the same, except for their size.
所以说今天除了身体变大之外，它的外形是没有变化，几乎就是一样年轻这样子，很过分。
Although some axolotls do eventually leave the water, most of them keep their external gills and stay underwater permanently. That's why I said before, some amphibians tend to stay in the water their whole lives. Others go through quite a metamorphosis, maybe not in shape, but in size, and more importantly, whether they will breathe air later on in their lives or stay in the water. And our axolotl is one that tends to. It usually lives its whole life underwater.
所以这边他告诉你说，它多半是生活在水中的。Although some axolotls do actually or eventually， 这个 do 的话是 really， 是真的会做这件事情。Eventually leave the water， 的确有一些的这种 axolotl， 这种六角恐龙，他们会离开水面生活。Most of them， 但大多数的他们呢，keep their external gills， 他们会保持他们外在这个鳃and stay underwater permanently， 永远都是生活在水中，因为在水里的话，你必须要靠鳃来呼吸嘛。
Okay, continuing. They are sometimes called walking fish, as you can imagine, because they resemble a fish with legs when they become mature. Now, they don't grow real legs the way we think of it because we are land animals, but they develop structures on the body which allow them to, in a sense like a reptile, to push themselves on the bottom of a lake or river and then even onto land.
Wow, 所以在这里的话，它也有一些那种爬虫类的外形。So maybe they can crawl, right?
Yeah.
Crawl 那种爬行的方式。So they are sometimes called walking fish because they look like a fish. 好，这个地方的话 resemble 的意思的话就是指看起来很像。这个地方就要小心是 resemble， 虽然是写 s 但是要发 z 的声音。resemble a fish with legs when they become mature。当它变成成人了之后呢，它会长出像脚一样的东西，还可以稍微爬行。我刚刚提到那个字 crawl 是 crawl， crawl 就是爬行，在地上爬行的意思。
Our second paragraph now.Axolotls basically come in 5 colors, and they seem to have a cute, smiling expression. We don't know if they're really smiling or not, but they look like it. That is their appearance. And they come in 5 colors. I assume this means that there are brown ones, gray ones, white ones, or it could also mean that one axolotl has 5 different colors on it.The head is white, the back is black, and the legs are another color, and so on.
没错，在这里的话，我们看到说，它原来这个 axolotl 六角恐龙，它有5种颜色，有可能是有5种白色、黄色、红色这样的，或者是一只六角恐龙身上可能头是什么颜色都不一定。但是 come in 5 colors 就有5种颜色的意思。好，在这边的话，整句话 axolotls basically come in 5 colors。所以如果说你今天去买衣服，说我要红色的，如果说今天你说，does this shirt come in another color？ 就是说 说有没有别的颜色可以选，这个 come in 就是 something is available 的意思。 And they seem to have a cute smiling expression， 那感觉上他们就是看起来像是 seem to 怎样怎样，好，随时都保持着微笑的表情，所以看起来就很萌很可爱。这边要特别注意的一下，你不妨可以注意一下第二段的开头 axolotls 跟第一段的开头 the axolotl。我们在第一段的时候提到的时候是提到物种的概念，所以 we say the 加上单数的名词，像我们之前有提到那个去年12月有提到 Komodo dragon， 那 the Komodo dragon 是我们第一段用的。到了后来如果你要讲说这种动物怎么样，你不是在这种物种的角度去看的时候，你就用复数的名词去表达就可以了。好，在这边的话我们特别注意一下它的这个使用的变化是很好的。
Okay, we have more about their appearance. They have tiny arms with long, thin digits. Now, digit is here means fingers, but they don't really have hands with fingers on them, but it looks like that.
Yeah, 没错，在这边的话提到他说这个 they have tiny arms 有小小的手背啊 with long thin digits 大部分提到的时候会是跟数字有关，好，所以在提到 number 好 two digit numbers 好，在这边的话我们提到的 digit 是指 fingers 看起来很像小指头一样，好可爱的，你去看图片就知道了。
The digital revolution
数位的这个digital revolution 数位革命Digital 就是指数位的，所以说我们今天书面上的文字改成储存在电脑中的资讯的时候，就是这种东西就叫做 digitizing or digitization。如果说今天是用数位科技的话，那个叫做 digitalization。好，很多时候这个字 digit 这个字背后衍生的意思很多，不妨各位去查一下哦。
The body length ranges from 15 to 45 centimeters, but rarely greater than 30 centimeters.And they live for about 15 years. So the length of their body is up to almost half a meter, but usually about a third of a meter. Notice range from to, a very useful expression. And they live for about 15 years, which is quite long for amphibians.OK,
所以接下来他告诉你就是他的那个身长啊相关的一些数字哦。比方说今天他提到说，他说 the body length ranges from 好，告诉你身长大概介于15到45公分 but rarely greater than 30 centimeters。 其实上他们要能够长到30公分以上是很少见的情况，不是没有，但很少。And they live for about 15 years， 他们活的话大概寿命是15年的时间。
They are carnivores with a diet of worms, insects, and small fish. Even if you didn't know what carnivore means, if it has a diet of worms, insects, and small fish, those are other small animals, then you know it's a meat eater.
在这边的话 carnivores 是指肉食的动物哦。这个地方的话那个 carn 那个地方的话只是 meat， 那 vor 的话就是吃的意思，所以你有机会听到类似像是 herbivores， 就比方说像是这个前面如果是 carn 变成 herbid H-E-R-B-I herbid，然后后面加 vor V-O-R-E-S herbivores 就是食草的吃草的动物，甚至还有什么 omnivore 就是指那种杂食动物 O-M-N-I 然后后面再加 vores 这样就变 omnivore， 老师就指他自己就对，我就是杂食动物这样子omnivore 这个 carnivores herbivores omnivores 提到生物动物的时候常常会用到这些字汇。
Right. Okay, let's take a short break.Welcome back. Now we're on our third and fourth paragraphs. The third is their name, that is axolotl. Their name comes from Aztec culture. The Aztecs were a civilization centered in central Mexico. In fact, Mexico City is built over their city of 1,000 years ago or so.
所以这边的话，我们先告诉大家是说，六角恐龙它的英文名称 axolotl 到底是来自什么地方？它的来源是什么？原来我们看到 their name comes from Aztec culture. Aztec 就是阿兹提克或阿兹特克，大概是 14 to 16 century。大概是那个阿兹特克的文化，差不多是在墨西哥那边，它是来自于这样子的名称。
Okay, I thought it was a little bit old, well, quite a bit older than that, maybe 1,000 years ago, but from what you say, it was 600 to 400 years ago. In their culture, they have Xalotl was an ancient god that was connected to lightning, fire, and sickness. We're trying to explain where we get this name, axolotl.
没错，所以到后来你会看到说Xalotl 这个字的话也是来自这个阿兹特克的，在发音上面可能有听到不同的人念法，但我上网去查它是念 Xalotl。Xalotl was an ancient god. Xalotl 这个神奇呢是他们的古代的神奇 that was connected to lightning, fire, and sickness. 是跟掌管什么？是掌管闪电，然后火，还有这个疾病的这样的一个神奇。所以你看 Xalotl 这个字前面加一个 a 的话，就是我们的主角 axolotl。好，这个东西的话，其实你的相关程度一看就知道了。
He, that is Xalotl, was the twin brother of Quetzalcoatl, excuse my Aztecian, and like the axolotl, he possessed the ability to transform his body. If you transform, you change your shape or you change your type.
Transform 这个字的话，其实就是从 change 改变跟 form 形态。如果你改变你的形态，就是转型，对不对？或者是说今天转变外在的形态。他这边整句话说 He was the twin brother of Quetzalcoatl or Coatl。 这个老师刚刚提到说抱歉，这个阿兹提克语说的不好，对不对哈？这个字本来就不好念嘛哈。And like the axolotl 好，就像是六角恐龙一样 he 指的是这个整齐 possessed the ability 他有这样的能力 to transform his body 能改变他外在的形态。如果你去查这个字的话，你也知道说很多人就叫它 the feather serpent 就是那种有长羽毛的一种蛇，它这样子的一个神叫羽蛇神。好，非常非常神奇的一个神奇哦。
And the feathers may also refer, I'm guessing, to the ability to fly. So it would have been a flying serpent, a particularly frightening animal.
没错，如果说今天蛇长了翅膀的话，不是更可怕吗？更到处飞来飞去的。
Our last paragraph, the axolotl is a fascinating creature in biology because it has the remarkable ability to regrow body parts if any of them are lost or damaged. Of course, the axolotl isn't the only animal that has this ability, but very few do. And so when we find an amphibian or a reptile or a fish that can regrow body parts, zoologists are very, very interested in those animals.
没有错。所以这里的话，我们为什么会去研究六角恐龙呢？是因为它有一个特殊的能力，就是再生能力。它这边提到说 The axolotl is a fascinating creature 指的意思就是说这个生物界里头六角恐龙它是一个非常有趣值得关注值得研究的动物。 Why? 因为呢 in biology because it has the remarkable ability to regrow body parts 但是因为它的能力是它能够失去了某些部分的这个可能手啊脚啊或甚至器官啊失去了之后它能够再生回来再长出来 regrow 这个 re 就是再一次 again 的意思 If any of them are lost or damaged 不管是不小心断掉了或者是受伤了它有办法再长回来这样子的能力。
It is also possible to transplant body parts from one axolotl to another without rejection from the recipient. So if we have a whole, healthy axolotl, part of his body can be cut off and given to another axolotl, which will not reject this. And that power is something very unusual and therefore very interesting to people in medicine as well as zoology.
没错，所以说今天医学上人看到说，哇，如果说帮人家这个病人换肝的时候也没有这种排斥反应的话，如果我们能研究这项科技的话，那不是很酷吗？是很多人的福音。It is also possible to transplant body parts from one axolotl to another. 所以说你今天如果说你把其中一只六角恐龙的某一个部分移植给另外一个六角恐龙，然后但是中间的话不会出现任何那种身体的排斥反应。那 from the recipient 就是 the person or the animal who receives something， 就是被移植的那个人身体不会出现排斥反应。所以老师刚刚提到说，这个不管是在生物界或者是在医学界，都会非常好奇说这个东西能不能够移植到医学上。
Scientists hope that by studying the axolotl, we might learn to regrow tissue from the human body someday. As I said, doctors are very, very interested in this power, and hopefully we can find a way to do this, because one of the big problems in medicine is the rejection of so-called foreign tissue.
没错，就是对外来的组织，我们身体会产生排斥反应，在移植上这会是个大问题。所以最后一句话讲说，科学家呢非常非常希望 by studying the axolotl 能够研究六角恐龙 we might learn to regrow tissue from the human body someday. 也许某一天我们可以知道说，怎么样能够让我们身体的组织能够像六角恐龙一样不断再生。
Okay, that's it for today's lesson, but if you like to learn more about axolotls, join us tomorrow. We have a lot more to help you with. Until then,
bye-bye.